How important was it to finish off this number 2 seed today?
Very important. Not sure what next week brings, but it gives us an option to get certain guys rest, and we'll just kind of go with the flow with whatever Bean and McDermott are telling our guys to do. But still got to prepare like we're trying to go 1-0, and that's our game plan.
Are you a certain guy that went out for rest next week?
I have no idea. Again, I'm going to do whatever's asked of me. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. I don't know.
Josh, nice to have a day like that where the defense made so many big plays for you.
That was awesome. Playing on short fields, it makes the game a lot easier. I'll tell you that. Our defense, man, they played lights out today. They had juice, they had energy, and then offensively, I thought we ran the ball well and a couple really, really big plays, especially there in the third quarter. Would love to get off to a faster start, and sustain a couple more drives and a couple penalties that hurt us. So a lot to learn from, but we'll look at it tomorrow and keep moving forward.
Hey, Josh, you went 8-0 at home during the regular season. You got players, coaches, but how much juice can you get from this environment?
Oh, it's awesome. That's as much as a team stat as a fan base stat too. The energy, I don't think people understand a delay of game or a false start. Like those 5 yards make such a difference. And we can feed off what our fans are giving us, and they've been the best in the league this year. And going back to since I've gotten here, they've been fantastic, and I truly believe we've got the best fans in the world.
You don't talk about your stats very often, but they put up 40 touchdowns 5 straight years. The crowd cheered. It looked like they acknowledged the crowd. Does that mean something to you? It's never been done before, 5 straight years with 40.
I think it's going back to high school, right? Our coach, Coach Magnuson, was always yelling, "What's the job of offense? It's to score." So it's a good job that we're scoring. It's kind of all that it means. But I know the crowd was giving me a lot of love today, so I just wanted to reciprocate it a little bit there and tip the cap to them.
Another milestone is this team matched the franchise record for wins in 16 games, 13 wins. What does that mean to have that level of consistency and knowing that you've won 13 games for the third time since 2020?
I mean, it speaks to the staff that we've got here, the guys that we've got in this locker room, how this team's put together, the culture that we have. We didn't really pay attention to the preseason notions, but we heard them and we saw them, and we knew what people were saying, but it had no effect on us. We just came in training camp and tried to work as hard as we could. And there was another stat I think that we tied today was the most touchdowns caught by different receivers or different players. I believe we got 13, and we got another week to try to get one more. So that's a stat too that we talk about a lot. Everybody eats in this offense, and it's a mantra that we've had, and I think that's a testament to that.
What did you see from Keon on that touchdown catch? The athleticism looked like a basketball type play.
Yeah, I got tossed down there late a little bit, and once the ball was in the air, it was kind of. I was pointing at him, and I threw it, and I felt in the corner of my eye Ty Johnson and I think Quincy Williams over there, and I was like, oh shoot, they're gonna be both in the same spot. But that's the reason why we drafted Zero, to go up and make plays like that, and he made a heck of a play.
You were on the sideline already, but what's it like watching the Shavers play?
Ah man, the joy that our team felt from that was pretty special. He's been a guy that's just continued to get better and work extremely hard. He's a locker room guy. Everybody loves him. From being cut early in this or after training camp, being on the P squad, being called up, and then to go make a play like that was a special moment for him. But I think it was a special moment for the team because we understand how hard he works, the time that he puts into his craft to learn the playbook. He knows every position, and you can't help but root for a guy that continues to work hard. And we're just happy that he made a play.
Hey, what's the feeling among the team? You guys have accomplished a lot. You've had first place games for a while now. You've got the second seed. What's the overall feeling heading into what's coming?
Again, 1-0 next week. That's all we can focus on.
What about the Amari play for the touchdown? What did you see, and then what did you see when he made that play?
Yeah, we had a little double move. They played post high, and I saw what we thought was a favorable matchup, and just gave him an opportunity. Too many times this year, I've tried to throw a perfect ball and lead him and get it right in his hands. And just kind of made a concerted effort over the last week or two to give them opportunities, especially him and Zero, give them opportunities on some of these fade balls. And he just did what Amari does, and it was awesome for him to get to 10,000 career yards. It's a special stat. I don't know how many guys have gotten it, but it can't be too many. But it speaks, it speaks about him, how hard he's worked through his entire career, and he's still making plays. And I'm glad he's on our team.
Josh, you pointed out the number of different receivers that have had success in this offense, and that obviously stands out. But it's kind of more open-ended. What's different about this team this year?
I mean, I just think we're not to say that we weren't in the past, but it's a different bond, a real sense of tightness and sense of family in this locker room. We're going out there, we're happy for each other's success. We want everybody to succeed, and we want to help do our part. And I think that's from 1 to 53 on this roster, and even going into the P squad. So just a lot of guys that are selfless, that care about their jobs, and just want to play football to the best of their ability.
Last year you guys played in a lot of really close games that you had to win down the stretch to get to the postseason. Obviously this year is very different. But how do you make sure as a team you stay sharp, considering that things have looked so different for the last month and we don't know what next week's going to look like?
Yeah, we just keep trusting what we're doing, how we are preparing week in and week out, and then going on the field and trusting each other and just trying to execute every given play. Hey guys.
Thank you. Good for me, right?
All right, glory to God. Great to be out there. Great environment again at home. Great to win. 8-0 at home. Hard to do. It's just special to play here. Our guys understand that, and the history that's been built here over the years, and playing well at home, and the red, white, and blue of the Buffalo Bills. So great environment, like I said. A lot of good things. I thought the defense came out and played aggressive, took the ball away, set up the offense, special teams, good sound, quality football overall. And the offense got rolling in the second half there, and that was good to see, capitalizing and some red zone opportunities and some takeaway opportunities there that we had. So a lot of game balls went out after the game, as you'd imagine. I think Josh Allen continues to show why he should be the MVP, and just great to see our offense do what they've been able to do here.
John, obviously, great day for the offense, but your defense really made the biggest play of the game, really all day long.
Yeah.
Talk about, because it has been a struggle for the last few weeks on that side. Just talk about the big plays today.
Yeah, I thought Coach Babbage and the defensive staff did a great job during the week. Players played extremely fast, physical, and then when you play physical and you play fast, the ball tends to come out and to find you. So, I think the first half they had a couple long drives, but we had the first series, that fourth down stop. And then the takeaway, I think was it Greg that tipped it, and then Jordan caught it. Big takeaway in the red zone there, and then just in the second half, I mean, they had the ball first, and that was an important drive for us, and then forcing, I think it was a punt. We forced a punt there, and just the aggressiveness overall when you get a team. In that situation, I felt the combination of the rush and coverage working together, and we were hard to stop up front, which is how it should be. So yeah.
How about the contribution from Greg Rousseau and the significance, not only today but throughout the season, kind of sporadic in terms of pass rush, but he's been kind of that one mainstay throughout the year and really had a big game today. What was the significance of his performance today and throughout the whole season, kind of being that rock among safeties?
Yeah, well, he's one of our best players on defense, and we spoke about that this week. And for us to play well on defense, he's got to play well, and so that's your best players have to play their best week in and week out, and that's how the league is. So the physicality, all those things, run and pass. It can't just be pass game, but it starts at the line of scrimmage and making sure we're winning first down, and then getting them into third down situations where we can rush the passer and the coverage and rush can work together. And the same thing, just state of the game when we get up. That's where we got it. The rush and coverage has to continue to work together. And again, I thought the defensive staff led by Bobby did a really good job. Bobby, I thought, caught a great game, and we got to continue to grow as a defense as we move forward here and on through the playoffs.
Hey, Sean,
Can you talk a
Sean, it
little
went
bit
from,
about Christian
Sean,
Denver?
Sean, it went from 12-0 to 40-0 pretty quick. As
Yeah.
you're watching that, what is it like to be on the sidelines when all three phases are accomplishing?
Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. It certainly makes my job easier, and I thought it was great to see, CB, that you mentioned, get that pick. Thought he had a chance earlier for one, and to reset and be able to come back and get that pick. Big play for us. And then Milano, I think Ed forced it, and then Milano almost had himself a touchdown. But great recovery and to keep playing the game there.
Sean, once Josh went to it on the podium just before you came in, said in the preseason, we saw the doubts and people doubting this team. We didn't use it as motivation, but we knew that talk was out there. What's it mean to you now to be in week 16 with 13-3 and having the second seed, sewed up, just given what was being talked about back then?
Yeah, it just goes back to guys working hard, working together, being unselfish, coming to work every day, focused on getting the job done. And we know that there's some doubters out there. We knew that earlier in the year, and the team just did a great job of coming together, led by Josh. Coaches have done a phenomenal job of trying to adjust week to week, and we've had some injuries, and guys have stepped up too. That's been important for us as well. So I think just the balance of a lot of things overall. Today, we played a game last week where I felt like we beat ourselves in certain situations, and you guys know I mentioned that, and we didn't play our best football, but we found a way to win, and I think that's important as well when you don't have your best game. And then this game, we knew this was going to be a tough game, and it was. It was mentioned earlier by Ryan. I think 12-0 for, I think most of the game. Then we blew it open there. So really, that's how the NFL is, and if you can blow it open, you got to make sure you finish it off. And our defense did a phenomenal job doing
Sean, how
that.
important is it to have this second seed wrapped up now and the options it gives you
Yeah.
going into next week?
Yeah, it does give us options, and I think that's the key thing for us, Vic, is, we'll see where it takes us. We've got some guys who are hurting a little bit right now and might need some rest, but we'll see. We've got some guys also that we may want to take a look at, whether it be offensively, defensively, or special teams that we're a little bit curious about, that just weren't maybe ready to be active yet. So I think that'll factor in. I'll sit down with Brandon and Terry, and we'll try and make the best decision overall as an organization for everyone involved here. And so anyway, just, it all starts with Josh's leadership. And the question was asked by John of, when Josh comes in and he's set on what he wants to get done, he's hard to stop. And so he came in, in the spring and then again in training camp when he reported back, and you could tell he had a goal in mind, and he's led this team right from the jump.
Sean, when you say that, you said he should be the MVP. People look at stats and he has the numbers, but what else is there about Josh Allen that makes you say he should be, other than he's your quarterback and he should be the MVP?
Well, I mean, stats, I think there's a saying about stats, right? So at the end of the day, Josh Allen's the MVP. I've been around this league long enough to see MVPs every year for many years. And what he has done on this team, in this organization, in this community, and no offense to anybody else, but I've got a hard time believing that someone's done more. I really believe that.
Understanding there's still a lot that you guys want to accomplish as a team. A lot of points during the season, we've heard guys on your team say that there's something different about the group. Do you get that sense? Do you feel that?
Yes, I do. I think it's more than anything else. They really stick together, and again, it starts with that unselfish approach. Don't get me wrong. We've got guys who get, they're competitive, so they get irritated when they're not the one scoring the touchdowns or getting the ball or, getting the sacks or whatever, and that's kind of natural for competitors, right? But they, at the end of the day, know that what's most important is that the team does well. So it takes a little bit of swallowing their pride from time to time and their ego, but overall, they've bought into that type of approach, which is key for us.
How important was it to get Cooper going a little bit if he's one of those people that you want to rest him next week?
Yeah, huge. That was an amazing catch. I mean, great throw by Josh. Just to see Coop go up and get it. He doesn't say much, but again, a highly competitive person, highly competitive player, and he's been a great addition by Brandon to our football team.
Sean, this offense right now looks like it can beat a team in multiple different ways. Is this as good a balance as you have on that side of the ball heading into the postseason?
I don't know what the numbers say, but I would say, again, just the threat of being a two-dimensional offense makes it hard to stop. When you get, one-dimensional, you get a little bit predictable, and so it makes it harder on the offensive line, makes it harder on everyone. So even today, I think in the first half, we weren't winning enough first downs, and so then within that, you become a little bit predictable, right? So winning the line of scrimmage will be key for us moving forward, and I thought today we did a pretty darn good job of that, especially in the second half.
Sean, you lost your top receiver from last year. Josh mentioned that you set the new record, tied the NFL record, most players with a receiving touchdown in the season. The old adage, great when a plan comes together. From your perspective, knowing what you needed this season, how does it feel when the plan comes together like that?
Yeah, if you had a crystal ball, right, as Brandon and I sit down with Terry before a season starts or in the spring, we're trying to figure out what it's going to look like, right? It's just a great job overall by Brandon, Terry, the coaches, the personnel staff, everyone, trainers, weight room. I'm going to leave some out, but when everyone's on the same page and there's a similar connectiveness between the team, right? Just between department to department to department. Now we got Pete leading the business side over there, and again, just that connectivity amongst the organization is huge for us, and that's important.
Sean, acknowledging you have a lot of decisions to make this week, but philosophically, how much do you expect Josh to play next month?
I haven't even gone there yet. I wrote down some notes last night, to be totally transparent with you, but I think there's more than that factors in here, right? And so we'll have to sit down, Brandon, Terry, myself, and talk about, again, what's best for this football team, the organization as a whole, and then it'll start, when we get into the players, it'll start with Josh and what's best for him.
Could I just ask, follow that, Sean, just in kind of a general, how much do you factor as you go through those discussions, rest versus, say, rhythm, or, you know what I mean, from
Yeah.
week to week and that sort of a thing?
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said for both arguments, right? Both sides of that. And, our team has gone into a bye, played well, come out of a bye, played well. So at the end of the day, we've got to look at everything, one of which is, how healthy we are coming out of this game or not healthy. So getting guys back healthy is important.
Sean, who ultimately makes that final call? Is it you? I know you guys all get together.
No, we'll do it together. Yeah, we'll do it together. I mean, that's, three heads are better than one, so it's a little bit of talking, a little bit of listening, and then just sharing what we feel is best for the team.
How much you think Milano was helped by not playing last week and just maybe resetting a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, he had that groin last week, and he looked good out there today, especially recovering that fumble. And very few know how far he's come with the journey he's been on. It's been a long road for him, and I think his best football is ahead of him. Certainly, when he plays well, it helps our defense. So that's an important piece for us. All right. Happy New Year to everyone. God bless you.